ActionAid Nigeria has appealed to donors and development partners to sustain their support for the organization in their drive to reduce poverty across the country. The country director of the organization, Andrew Mamedu, made the appeal during a meeting with donors and head of certain government parastatals and ministries in Abuja. Mamedu, who says the meeting hopes to come up with new and efficient ways of fighting widespread poverty, says they will continue to partner with government and stakeholders to ensure more Nigerians are lifted out of poverty.
The key message is poverty is loud and it's very visible across the country, with 133 million Nigerians living in multidimensional poverty. It is obvious that we as a country, we cannot continue like this. How do we make sure that the 133 million persons, we reduce that number? We don't increase it. Over the years, the number have been increasing. 20 million children are out of school, according to UNICEF, right? So how do we consistently start reducing those numbers and we start seeing results? Or else, we don't want to get to a point where the country will not be conducive for most people to live in. So that issues of insecurity, issues of hunger, issues of all the issues that are plaguing the particularly poor and marginalized, we put them to a halt and start reversing them. We have a government that is committed, that has said they are committed to fighting poverty, to eradicating poverty. They've started putting some policies in place. So what we need to do is look at those policies, work with the government. Government has, of course, they've got the biggest machinery to reduce poverty, and we have to work with them on issues of small and medium scale enterprises, small scale businesses. How do we make sure those small scale businesses that we have in the country, they are able to survive and also they start growing and employ? So imagine if you have 2 million small scale businesses, those 2 million, each of them employ 5 persons. They're able to support them to employ 5 persons. Automatically, those 5 persons, and they are paid living wage, not 30,000 naira minimum wage, but living wage that will make them survive and all. So you are automatically you are removing about 100 million plus persons out of poverty by just that singular action. Those are the kind of strategies that we are looking at, working with the community to hold government accountable and working with the government institutions to strengthen them in doing this. Looking at tax issue, how do you ensure that tax is well redistributed so that those poor and marginalized they are seeing the impact positively.
So are working people to understand what is the causing poverty and who is responsible that is not performing what they are supposed to do. Where are the resources? How are they distributed? Every month there is subvention that goes from the federal government to the states, to the local government. How is that money distributed? What is done with that money? We want to make sure that people understand this process of governance and that they are able to know the portion that is meant for them, and they ask for accountability, to demand accountability on how this money is being used on their behalf. So making sure that people understand their rights and then working together closer to their government. So what we want to do more is opening the space for civil societies at national, state and local government level to be able to understand their rights and then demand accountability.
Some people think poverty is the absence of money in the pocket, but for me it's much more than that. It's a state of insecurity that makes it impossible for the human being to reach reasonable decisions. It also means the absence of money in the pocket, because if you can't eat and you don't feel safe in your environment, then you're not likely to reason, right? So the first thing to do is check the indices. What are the things that you need to put in place to check poverty? Education is one of them. Education, not just the one within 4 walls of an institution, but also education of the one that starts from our home, right? Where you imbibe values and discipline and learn how to be consistent in your ways. So we need to identify those. We need to also identify each person's peculiar situation. There are children who are not good with figures and numbers, but they're very good with their hands. They're technical-minded children who want to explore. Allow these kids grow well. Let there be an environment where they can translate this into wealth. Women can't go to the river anymore for fishing and all of that for fear of being raped. They can't go into, so all the people can't go to their farms for fear of herdsmen and all. You need to deal with insecurity. You need to truly deal with insecurity. You need to put good policies in place, not the type of policy that is probably paper friendly, but in practicality can come to anything. It's just, words put together with no meaning. You need to deal with that.